Sentiment is horrible. It's atrocious. It's never been this bad. You can go and you can look at hacks. You can look at what happened in 2020 on March 12th. You can look at FTX collapsing, all that stuff. That was all bad. I actually think sentiment right now may be worse. Is this time different? Is the 4-year cycle over? There's people who I really respect and think are very smart. They're saying, hey, no, it's not. October was the top. We're down only now. We're going to 60 or 70,000. Great. There's people I know who really respect who say, this is a head fake. All of a sudden, we're going to come ripping right back. When we come back, people are going to realize the 4-year cycle was dumb, doesn't really exist. It got broke when Wall Street showed up, and now we're just going to keep grinding up. Long-term investors should not take advice from short-term speculators. Bar. Put that on your wall. If you're a long-term investor, stop worrying about what the short-term speculators are saying.
Pompliano starts by addressing the elephant in the room. The market feels awful. Not just bad, historically bad. We've lived through March 12, 2020. We lived through the FTX collapse. We've been through hacks, blow-ups, and liquidations. But today, Pomp argues sentiment might actually be worse than any previous crash, and here's why. Pompliano starts by addressing the elephant in the room. The market feels awful. Not just bad, historically bad. We've lived through March 12, 2020. We lived through the FTX collapse. We've been through hacks, blow-ups, and liquidations. But today, Pomp argues sentiment might actually be worse than any previous crash, and here's why. Instead of liftoff, Bitcoin ran to 126K and then dropped 30% in a flash.
Please take a little time to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on post notifications for more videos like this. You can also check out our other videos on cryptocurrencies and the overall digital asset space and drop your comments and observations in the comments section below. Everything you do helps with the YouTube algorithm and immensely contributes to the channel's growth. Thanks and enjoy the video.
People are very worried, rightfully so. There's a lot to unpack, but first we got to just say sentiment is horrible. It's atrocious. It's never been this bad. You can go and you can look at hacks. You can look at what happened in 2020 on March 12th. You can look at FTX collapsing, all that stuff. That was all bad. I actually think sentiment right now may be worse. People were so bulled up. We're headed up. Remember, all those things happened when there was obvious catalyst. 2020, there's a pandemic. Everyone goes sit at home. You're getting locked in your house. Fearful, but you at least knew why. FTX, we'd gone down all of 2022, and then we had the final puke. FTX failed, right? All the chaos, etc. Here, the difference where unhappiness lives is the difference between expectations and reality. And the expectation was we're going higher. We're going to 150, 200, 250, 300, a million. People are saying crazy numbers. And instead what we got is we touched 126 on October 6th and bam, we went down 30% from there. And because everyone was bulled up, everyone was excited, that liquidation, all that leverage, that was excitement, that was enthusiasm, that was euphoria. This was right in our face. Now, a second thing is, I forget who showed this, but I saw online. We can look at the last two 30% drawdowns. One took like 170 days. Another one took like 72 days. This one took like 44. So all of a sudden, we're getting compression. It's happening faster and faster. We're getting these drawdowns at 30% during this cycle. What does that mean? If you go down 30% in 40 days, obviously fear is going to take hold. And then it becomes this reflexive cycle. You're fearful, I'm fearful, they're fearful. Oh no, sell, sell, sell. People start selling, price goes down faster. You're more fearful, I'm more fearful, etc. So that's first. Sentiment is atrocious. It's in the toilet. Throw it out. Second, whales are selling, man. Now, whales could be OGs, could be people who have held Bitcoin for a long time, or they could just be people who bought Bitcoin recently. But people with large stacks, they had been selling. Now, one of the most interesting stats is short-term profit or loss. If you look at coins that are on chain, you can see how long does someone hold them for. Short-term is usually determined at 155 days, right? 155 days. So if you acquired something last 155 days, a coin that you acquired, 95% or more of those coins in the red, underwater, losing money. That's really bad for sentiment. All those people who are buying in the last 155 days, they're all underwater. Short-term loss, not good. On top of that, we do have older coins that are at least switching hands or moving. Now, does it mean that people are selling? Not always. They could just be moving it to a different wallet. They can move it to a different custodian. They could be upgrading the wallet, all kinds of stuff that could be happening. But we know they're moving, and a lot of times that is for selling. And so as people see that distribution happening, they say, hey, the OGs, they're getting out. Now, market is finally liquid enough. There's finally regulatory clarity. There's finally things where they can go and they can take that money, they can put it into a bank, etc. So like, there's a lot of reasons why people are starting to do this. But here's the thing. Here's the good news. Bitcoin fell 30%. You know what it did? Chef's kiss right off of the CME gap. That usually is a pretty good, sturdy little floor there. That's interesting. Second thing, those whales, those big bad whales, hit 89,000. You know what they did? Let me come back for some more. They started gobbling up Bitcoin. Huge spike in the number of whales that started buying in the last 48 hours. Again, doesn't mean that we can't go lower. Just means that the whales are back, baby. All of a sudden they say, wait a second, there's a price that I finally think is too cheap, right? If you think of an asset, the way finance works is there's an asset. If it appreciates a lot in value, eventually it reaches such a crazy level valuation-wise that it is so overvalued that some people say, no more, no mas, no mas, no mas. Wave the white flag. Can't buy it at that level, right? Same thing happens on the other side. It crashes. I'd say everyone, would you buy Bitcoin at $1? Yeah. Okay, would you buy it at 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 50,000? There's some level where you're like, yo, this is stupid. I gotta buy it. For the whales, it looks like just under 90,000, bam, they're back in the market. So let's see what happens. But the big question, is this time different? Is the 4-year cycle over? There's people who I really respect and think are very smart. They're saying, hey, no, it's not. October was the top. We're down only now. We're going to 60 or 70,000. Great. There's people I know who really respect who say, this is a head fake. All of a sudden, we're going to come ripping right back. When we come back, people are going to realize the 4-year cycle was dumb, doesn't really exist. It got broke when Wall Street showed up, and now we're just going to keep grinding up. That could be true too. Maybe both are true. Here's a little scenario for you. There's a guy on Twitter who I saw he was talking about hit 126, dropped 30%. 30% is a normal drawdown in a bull market. Dropped 30%. Chef's kiss right off of that CME gap. Whale step back in, go right back over 100K. Everyone goes, hey, that was just a little cleansing. We're ready to rock and roll, go higher. But then Bitcoin says, just kidding. I'm really going to a bear market. We go to 60 or 70. I have no clue. I have no clue what's going to happen. What I know is that the Bitcoin that I'm holding, my goal is to give that to my grandchildren. There have been times in the past where, unfortunately, I've had to sell some to buy or to pay taxes or do something, right, where I literally had to do it. Every time I've ever sold Bitcoin throughout the decade or so that I've been doing this, it's like you're doing it and you're just like, this is so dumb. I know I'm going to regret this. But you get life, man. And I think that's what a lot of the OGs are starting to see is like, yo, man, like, okay, cool. If you got $1 billion of Bitcoin, but you live in a studio apartment and don't have a car, I'm not saying that's what they're doing, right? But for an illustrative effect, you think maybe if you take $5 million, $10 million, $100 million, then you get a cool spot, quality of life, right? So we're going to see what happens, but everyone just chill out. Here's a good piece of advice for you. Long-term investors should not take advice from short-term speculators. Put that on your wall. If you're a long-term investor, stop worrying about what the short-term speculators are saying. And if you're a short-term speculator, stop worrying what the long-term investors are saying. You're playing two different games. One of you is playing T-ball, the other's playing Major League Baseball. You guys can figure out which is which. And so just play your game. If you're a long-term investor, keep accumulating Bitcoin. Keep dollar cost averaging in. Hold a great asset for a long time. You're the next Buffett. You're good. If you're a short-term speculator, hey, get out the charts, man. Let's go. Let's start drawing the astrology lines. Let's figure out where's the thing going in the short term. Some guys are really good at that. Some are not. That's not my game.
Pomp highlights that many old assumptions are being questioned, especially Bitcoin's correlation to liquidity. Historically, when global liquidity rose, Bitcoin eventually followed. But lately, liquidity moved higher while Bitcoin lagged. This raises two possibilities. Bitcoin's price is about to explode upward to close the gap. The liquidity relationship is weaker than previously thought. Markets evolve, institutional flows change dynamics. New catalysts rewrite old rules. This is part of the process of Bitcoin maturing.
One of the things that's really interesting is, so 2018, 2019, we fell significantly from 20,000 in 2017, we topped out at 20,000. We dropped back down to 3,200 in 2018, right? Bottom there. Then we kind of went sideways and recovered, went all the way up to your point, 69,000. Then we dropped back down to like 16,000. Now, wait a second. We dropped to 16,000. The prior all-time high was 20,000. We had never seen Bitcoin drop back below its previous all-time high, ever. Not a lot of data points. It's not like it happened 100 times, right? There's like 3 data points, but we'd never seen that before. Okay, violated that rule. Now all of a sudden people say, well, it can drop back below its previous all-time high. Went 70,000, right? That was the previous all-time high now. Now we're up at 126. Could it drop back to 70? Sure. Could it drop below 70? Sure. What's your time horizon? That's what people got to ask themselves. What is your time horizon? The US government likes Bitcoin. Like everyone in the cabinet has got Bitcoin. People who hated Bitcoin are finally capitulating, saying, you know what, I like Bitcoin. Larry Fink is the CMO of Bitcoin. It is game on. Who cares what happens in the short term? Don't use leverage. Don't be a fool. As long as you live by that, you're good. Chill out. Everything's going to be fine. If your house price, anyone ever go on Zillow? If you own a house and you look at it every day, it bounces around like a ping pong ball. One day is up, next day is down, next day is up again, right? Bam, 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 bam. You don't all of a sudden say, oh, let me sell my house. Let me not sell my house. Let me sell my house. Let me not sell my house. You just use it for utility. You live in your house and you know you're going to hold it for a while until you're ready to move. Bitcoin's utility is that it's protecting your purchasing power. Who cares where the day-to-day price goes? It's serving you utility. Hold it until you want to sell it. And if price is determining you selling or not selling, then you're a speculator. No problem. But you go to the gambling table. That's fine. Just understand that, you may be the amateur at the gambling table. There's a lot of people with a lot of experience, a lot of technology, a lot of data, and frankly, they got a lot of money. They're dominating the gambling table. I take up my little shekels and little coins, right? And I say, I don't want to play at this table. I'm going to go over here. At the long-term lounge, we don't got tables. We're just sitting with a lounge. Sit down in a nice, comfortable chair. You just pop your feet up. Maybe get out a cigar, listen to some nice music, chill. Who cares what they're doing at the gambling table? We're in the long-term lounge. And the long-term lounge is gravy. It's chill. See your friends, hang out, chill. Maybe they get a little drink, get a little bit of food. Fine. In the long-term lounge, nobody's blood pressure goes above like 60. In the short-term gambling table, everyone's blood pressure is like 140. Lower your blood pressure, chill out, go to the long-term lounge, relax. If Jerome Powell came out and said, we like Bitcoin, would all of a sudden Bitcoin go to 120? Probably not. Would it go higher? Absolutely, right? If all of a sudden they just came out and they said, bam, $1 trillion pumping it into the system, would Bitcoin go higher? Sure. Is it going to go to 150? Probably not, right? So it depends. Now, if they had done $1 trillion when Bitcoin was at 10K, that thing would have been at 30 overnight. So it's all about what is the size of the asset? How what is the thing that's happening? How important is it? What right now are we in a situation where the correlation is high or low, right? That's why it's interesting. It's a complex system. It's like, it's kind of like a puzzle. You're trying to figure out how all the pieces work together. You're trying to understand, okay, if this happens over here, what's the impact going to be over here? That's cool. It's fun. But the truth is, I don't make a lot of different decisions based on what's going on. Now, what I will say is, I've been telling people all year that we were going to sell certain things as we were watching asset prices run up, right? This year, we thought we were going to be in a bull market. Very different thing. Bitcoin, I look at that very differently than I look at anything else I had. So we have like venture funds from, 8 years ago, right? Where we invested in private companies. Those private companies eventually went public. We were holding the liquid stock. I don't know what's going to happen in the stock market. Could it go higher? Absolutely. Could it go lower? Absolutely. Guess what? I don't know. We are up on these things, right? We've held it for a long time. Hey, hedge, take some chips off the table, right? Guess what? We got investors. Our investors want money back, right? All this kind of stuff. So you look at this and you say there's sometimes dynamics where if it was up to me and my partners, we probably wouldn't sell. We'd just say, just hold it, right? Like, let's see what happens. So over the next 5 to 10 years, these things are going to be worth more than they are today. But at the same time, you got investors, right? They want liquidity, all that kind of, so like there's things that drive the market that aren't just purely like people have a view on, is the asset price is going up or is it going down, right? Now, what I will say is I think that there are certain things that people have historically believed that they're starting to question a little bit. Bitcoin and its relationship to global liquidity. I've been one, hey, anytime that you get this, kind of alligator jaws, where all of a sudden you see liquidity is running higher and Bitcoin's price is lagging, you expect that to close. Either liquidity's got to come down or Bitcoin's got to go up. That hasn't happened. It's been going on for a while now. Now, that could mean that there's this like super high velocity rise in Bitcoin's price to catch up. Or maybe the thing that we thought was true is not necessarily nearly as true as we thought it to be, right?
What does Pomp want people to take away from all of this? Yes, sentiment is awful. Yes, whales sold, but they're also buying again. Yes, the cycle is uncertain. Yes, Bitcoin can go lower. But none of that changes the long-term truth. Bitcoin is becoming an institutionalized global asset. It continues to protect purchasing power. It keeps onboarding new believers, especially the people who once laughed at it. The U.S. government, Wall Street, major funds, they're all warming up. And in a long enough time frame, Bitcoin rewards patience more than prediction.